The renegades scaled the walls and discreetly approached the villa from the behind. One of them opened the back door, and they all entered inside. And they found what they were looking for, right in front of them. Uthman, son of Affan, the third Caliph of Islam, a dear companion of the Prophet Muhammad, reading Quran before them, without guards or a weapon. One of them raised his sword to take his life, but Uthman's wife threw herself on her husband. The regicide sword cut through her fingers. The man was not deterred by the woman's courage. As his friends pushed away Uthman's wife, he struck once again. This time, his sword found its target. The leader of the Muslims was dead, killed by his own subjects. Welcome to our video about the reign of the fourth Caliph of Islam, Ali, and the first civil war among the Muslims. Series of events following the murder of Caliph Uthman divided the Islamic world both theologically and politically. These divisions continue to shape the modern Islamic world to this day. Before we get to the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. It immensely motivates us and brightens our day. After the death of Prophet Muhammad in 632, he had left a proper state behind him, stretching from Syria to Oman. In his place, the Muslims elected his close friend and father-in-law, Abu Bakr. After Abu Bakr's death, another close companion of the Prophet, Umar, succeeded. Umar was assassinated in 644, and Uthman was elected as the third Caliph of Islam. Under Uthman, Caliphate's border reached Algeria in the west and India in the east. However, his successes were also plagued with controversies. Caliph Uthman was a member of the powerful and rich Umayyad family, and Uthman had a tendency to favor his family members in appointments. The governors of Syria, Egypt, and Yemen were all his close relatives, as well as his close advisors. In 656, Uthman's appointed governor of Egypt was deposed, and rebel armies from Egypt, Basra, and Kufa started marching on the city of Medina, Uthman's capital. Their demands were clear: abdicate or die. Uthman's cousin and the governor of Syria, Muawiyah, called him to Damascus, where he would be safe. However, Uthman refused Muawiyah's offer not to create further conflict and civil war. Instead of using force, Uthman decided to settle things peacefully. He sent Ali ibn Abu Talib to negotiate with the rebels. Ali was the cousin of Prophet Muhammad and a massively respected religious leader among the Muslims. At the time it was unclear, but he was the figurehead of the Umayyad opposition. Regardless, Ali was a devout Muslim and followed the order of his caliph and persuaded the rebels to turn back. Unfortunately for Uthman, one of his closest advisors and relatives, Marwan, sent a messenger to the governor of Egypt, ordering him to arrest and punish the rebels as soon as they returned. However, Marwan's messenger was captured by the rebels, who got outraged upon finding it. They hastily went back to Medina and murdered Caliph Uthman. This would be the calamity that would create a massive divide in the Islamic world that still lasts to this day. This was the beginning of the Shia and the Sunni. Following the death of the Caliph, the capital city Medina, anti-Umayyad rebels, and they knew it was a race against time. A new Caliph had to be elected, a Caliph that would not punish them for their crime, a Caliph that would not punish them for their regicide. Certainly a Caliph that was not from the Umayyad tribe. At the time, several men were influential enough to be elected as caliphs. The first candidates were men called Zubair and Talha. These were praised companions of Prophet Muhammad and advisors to late Caliph Uthman. Of course, the rebels knew that if either one of them got the Caliphate, he would punish them for regicide, so they were discarded away quickly. Another candidate was Muawiyah. Muawiyah was the governor of Syria and a part of the Umayyad clan. He was arguably the most powerful man in the Caliphate, with a veteran army that had been fighting against the Byzantine Empire for years, and he also had the wealth of a rich province. But he was from the Umayyad clan, and of course was not going to be elected by anti-Umayyad rebels in Medina. And the last and most influential candidate was Ali ibn Abu Talib, the dear cousin of Prophet Muhammad and a member of the Quraysh clan. He has been a candidate in the last 3 caliphal elections and was the most worthy and legitimate candidate now that Uthman was dead. So the rebels went to him and proclaimed him as the caliph. The mob then proceeded to force Talha and Zubayr to pledge allegiance to Ali, which they did, albeit under the threat of swords. Now Ali was at a major crossroads. As soon as he succeeded to the caliphate, he had 2 major problems to solve. The first of these problems were the rebels that had overrun Medina and murdered Caliph Uthman. For sure, he could not let the regicides live, but they were the ones that crowned Ali, and these rebels were the only armed force in Medina. Before his death, Caliph Uthman had sent away his supporters to prevent a civil war, leaving the mob as the only military force in the capital. As a solution to that, Talha and Zubayr offered their services. Both men were well respected in Iraq and offered to gather an army there and march to Medina to help Caliph Ali in punishing the murders of Uthman. Little did Talha and Zubayr know, Ali had another major problem to handle. The mob that murdered Uthman was not without its reasons. The Umayyad governors appointed by Uthman controlled large portions of the realm. Ali himself was elected in a chaotic election, and it was unknown whether the Umayyad governors would pledge allegiance to him or not. Especially the governor of Syria, Muawiyah, was an ambitious man. If it came to that, the mob in Medina might be the only force Ali could rely on against the Umayyads. Ali had to choose. Should he punish the murders of Uthman or get rid of the corrupt Umayyad governors with the support of said murderers? And he made his decision. That day, 4 riders set out of Medina, heading to different directions. One to Damascus, to the palace of Muawiyah, another one to Egypt, one to Yemen, and the last one to Iraq, with royal orders to depose Umayyad governors. Ali also ordered his troops to muster. He knew Muawiyah would not accept his caliphate, and he was determined to force him, even if it meant marching on Syria with force. And later that night, 2 more riders left Medina, Talha and Zubayr. They headed to Mecca, where they met with Aisha, the widow of Prophet Muhammad, the daughter of the first Caliph Abu Bakr and the mother of Muslims, the most powerful woman in the whole Middle East. In her house, they discussed Ali's caliphate, Uthman's murder, and they decided that Ali was enjoying the support of the mob way too much and seemed more than eager to wage war against Muawiyah than to punish the rebels. Justice had to be dealt, they decided, whether Ali agreed or not. Rebellion was brewing, not in Syria as Ali had suspected, but right beside him in Mecca. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you.